way to church. Um, Took a long time to kind of just relax last night just because of all of the day and everything. So I did. I just relaxed and I actually made myself kind of stay awake because I knew if I fell asleep at like 7 o'clock for an hour, I would be up for hours. So I actually fell asleep about 1 o'clock in the morning, but I rested, and that's what I needed. Computer all because it really messes with my voice. So I've started, as you probably all have seen, to start uploading in a lot is coming up with the devotional, with the shorts, the Bible verse shorts. But if I don't upload about 5 a day for the next couple of days, we won't get caught up. So even though the devotions aren't there yet, we'll get those. I'd rather be behind on the devotions for a little bit and on schedule with the Bible verses. So that's what I'm trying to do, and so forth. So you're going to see them roll out today. Sorry. With that being said, one of the devotional shorts that is rolling out is the day that Phil Robertson passed away was the 25th, and the devotion that kind of led to it leaned into what it was talking about to what I think Phil Robertson did with his life after he came to Jesus. So I know that there's people that may not agree with his political views or his political views, and that short's coming out about 8:30 tonight. Political views or religious views or all that kind of stuff, but it wasn't why I picked or we picked it. We picked it because it is the transformation of watching before he came to Christ to after he came to Christ. So I want to be able to put all of the kind of political and all that kind of stuff aside. He witnessed his life and, of course, the gospel to the world. And they had a lovely service, and they actually recorded it and put it up, and it was lovely. I watched it yesterday. So that's why it just lends itself to the title. Hi, Galeth. Hopefully I said that. Hi, Partish. Hopefully I said that right too. It just lends itself to that, but again, just be respectful, and I'm sure everybody will. Hi, Elskul. You know, just I'm sure everybody will, but that'll be coming out, and then hopefully this evening I can get some devotions started to be recorded and put up. Like I said, it's my birthday month, so we are going to be doing a live every day for the next month, except for Sunday and Monday. And Monday, I'm hoping to really get forward with the devotions and get them up because they're quite behind and we need to get them caught up. And so I'm also going to get a video out hopefully on Tuesday. It'll be a giveaway video. We are going to, on the 18th, do a live thing for my birthday, and we will be going to give away a $25 gift card to Amazon. That'll be to anybody that can get Amazon for my birthday celebration. If any other channel wants to contribute anything, let me know. But the video will run from Tuesday, hopefully, until the end of the month, because why not celebrate your birthday the whole month through? And we'll be doing a $10 gift card to Hobby Lobby and 2 soap caddies. And maybe if our soap bars work out well, we'll be able to actually put one of those or shampoo bars. So that's the gist of everything. Hopefully I can get, I'm thinking maybe for a recipe this month, I'm going to make my grandmother's spaghetti sauce. That was always a favorite of mine, and maybe I'll try to put that together as a recipe. A lot of great recipes. And another recipe that I'm going to put up is what we had when Christina was with us, was just chicken divan. It sounds fancy, but it's not really fancy. Um, but I will for sure put that up and put that together. And we're just going to chit chat. I'm kind of thankful for the rain today, because yesterday it was kind of like, what was it? It was kind of like it was snowing pollen yesterday. So we needed the rain a little bit today, because yesterday it was like you could see it. I'm like, it's snowing and it's not even time for it to snow yet. Of course, I can't wait for it to get cold. Mother can wait. She's like, that's Mama. She can wait. I and my husband and my daughter all love the cold weather. But it's good to see the rain, because that'll clear out all that. And it's very smoky because of all the smoke from over from Canada. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that about the short that's coming out, because we did put his picture on it. It just fit the title of the devotion. But I want to, again, and when I do the devotion, I'll reiterate that I want to be able to put all that aside and focus on. If you all haven't seen The Blind, that was a story about Phil Robertson, I would recommend that highly to anybody, because it really shows kind of the before and after. And that's kind of what that devotion is talking about, and talking about us witnessing our faith and showing our faith. It takes a lot more than just, walking the walk and, talking it. It takes both. It takes us both talking, and it takes us walking, and people are watching. And they're watching to see how we're living in our faith. And that's when people come and start asking questions, when they can see us walking and walking, the word out, and showing that. And people can believe what they would like to believe. Nobody does well with anybody hitting them over the head with the Bible. If people, and I've had people come within this chat who don't believe in what we believe, and that's fine. Believe what you would like to believe. My challenge to anybody is just make sure that if you can say, I don't believe in, the Word of God, I don't believe in the Bible, take the time to read it from start to finish, and then walk away, or at least the book of John, and walk away and say, no, I don't believe that. Because I think if you do read the Bible from start to finish, there's transformation that happens within that. And so that's my little thing. But anyway, I want to welcome everybody, whatever their beliefs are. I want them to come in and welcome, because this channel is all about connection. It's all about crocheting that connection, meeting each other where we're at, building that community. You can all see how rainy it is out. It is just rainy, rainy, rainy. It was actually hard to get out of bed this morning. My mom and I were like, I don't want to get out of bed. But, just realizing that, the importance of community, and having that support system, and having people with different beliefs and different views, and walking away sometimes saying, you know what, I don't believe what you believe, but I can agree to disagree. And then looking deeper into who they are, because I think we all, as a whole, no matter what we believe, can find common ground in each other. I think it's there. It's possible to find it. And some of the subjects that may be things that are harder to talk about are worth talking about, but you have to come back and say, you know what, I respect your opinion, but I don't believe that. And the other person has to say the same thing back. And then you have to get to the point where you say, you know what, let's find some things we can agree on and we can find common ground on. Because you could be missing out on a wonderful individual and a wonderful friend just because they don't believe in that. And I love hearing about other people's opinions and views and all that kind of stuff, because I think otherwise it can be an echo chamber. And there's things in my life where I have listened. Judge Judy used to say, God gave us 2 ears and one mouth for a reason. Where I have listened to others and changed my opinion because I've seen a side that I didn't see before. And at the core, I know where I'm going for my moral compass. I'm going to go to the Bible, but different things I've viewed different ways in my life because I've listened to somebody else. I never thought of it that way. I never looked at it that way. I never looked at the perspective of it that way. And, you know, we need to listen to others. We need to let them know that their views and opinions matter. And I think sometimes we've lost the art of debate. We just don't realize how to debate anymore. We don't realize how to have a conversation and listen back and forth. And I think once we listen, doesn't mean we need to walk away and agree with the other person's views, but we need to be respectful to each other. And we need to say, you know what, there's something that person can teach me. Everybody can teach each other. We all have that thing. There's life experience that I have had that nobody else has had. Maybe similar, but not exactly like mine. My story and my backstory in itself is my story. And like I said, we are going to do a live about treasuring your backstory, because within your backstory is gold. There are gold nuggets amongst the dust and the ashes. And your backstory needs to be treasured because it's part of who made you. It's part of who you are. It may be not a pretty backstory, but it is a backstory. And I know my life as I look back, it's got to be because there's a birthday coming around. As I look back and I think to myself, you know, I can say to myself, I I don't know if I change a lot. There's some things I change, but a lot of what happened in my life has been because of what has happened throughout my life and made me who I am. And there's situations, circumstances that have grown me and helped me grow. And I'm still growing, and I'm still learning, and I'm still improving. I'm still under construction, as Billy Graham's wife said. Still under construction till the time I take my last breath. And we all are still under construction. But you can learn from each other. You can be there for each other. You don't have to necessarily come in to always agree with each other. But you have to be willing to say, I'm going to open up, I'm going to listen, I'm going to be respectful. I don't have to walk away changing my view. Because I think some people get to the point where their view is the only thing, it's the truth, and that's it, and there's no other way. And that's fine. But we also can be receptive to other people's views and be respectful of their views. And I think be nicer sometimes in how we handle it, and how we go about doing it. Because sometimes we can be harsh, in how we're presenting ourselves and presenting our truth. And sometimes we need to soften it a little bit. This world is full of a lot of people, and I enjoy getting to know individuals and getting to know who they are and what their backstory is. I guess it's kind of like, ooh, somebody smell this. Somebody's scared of skunk. Woo! Um, you know, I know for myself, my dad's backstory is not always very pretty, but his backstory helped me realize why he was the way he was and why he did some of the things he did. And I can be caring in a way as I got older instead of being, you know, it was a healing process. I said that to my daughter yesterday. I told her some things, and I said, I'm not doing this to make an excuse, but I'm doing this because you've got to know the backstory behind it. You've got to understand that by understanding this part of my backstory a little bit and your dad's backstory, there's healing that comes from that. And I know that that was a huge aha moment when I said, and as I've gotten older, I've actually realized it even more. My dad really had a lot of trauma go on and abandonment go on, hurt go on that he never really dealt with. And he could have eventually, of course, back then counseling wasn't the thing, but he could have really, done well with going into counseling and talking with somebody and digging some of that stuff out and going through some of that pain. And because it didn't happen, things happened. But his backstory had me say, you know what? This is why. It was the why. It didn't make it right. It didn't make it an excuse because he could be very verbally abusive. But it made me understand it. And in with my dad's backstory is a lot of strength and a lot of amongst the ashes and amongst the dust and amongst that. His backstory is of, I think, just this drive to want to continue, moving forward. And the fact that he stayed married to my mom for 49 years is a testament to God's strength. And God, transformation. He went to a thing, and they don't do it anymore, but Promise Keepers was really evident. And he went to Promise Keepers, and there was a shift that happened when that happened. And, counseling probably could have done a little bit more of a shift, but there was a huge shift that happened. And just like Phil Robertson, who was an alcoholic, who was not, following, was not a believer, when he became a believer, there was a change. My dad was a believer, but when he really kind of found God, I think at that point, when he really started to, trust the Lord and get into the Word and so forth, there was a change that happened. And, the world didn't see it. We saw it. But, people like Phil Robertson, that's why I chose, and we chose that for that Pacific devotion that's coming up, is because Phil Robertson was on a stage and he could show to the world the transformation that went around. And I give him a lot of credit for showing his story, um, the ashes and the gold, and showing his backstory and showing the transformation. Because we just don't know, whether or not you believe or not, of what our backstory is going to do for somebody else. It could just change. With what went on recently over the past 2.5 months, I have gotten very much into Little House on the Prairie, and I kind of researched a little bit about. And there was a story about, because Johnny Cash and his wife was on one of the episodes, and the lady who played Mama Ingalls said, there was a story where their son had gotten in a very terrible accident. She was on her way to him, and she didn't know whether or not he was going to make it. But she was praising God on the way. She was thanking God on the way. And in the midst of the darkness, that little story has totally changed my view. Little things that I can say, whether or not you believe or not in God. You can still look at life and say, thank you for the rain today. Thank you for this today. It has changed how I've looked at life a little bit. And I'm thankful for that. So, we take one day at a time. We find gratitude. We find people that we can find community with in and rely on and have support with. But remember one thing, to be proud of your backstory and be proud of being you, because everyone else is taken. We have you covered. Thank you so much for having us covered. And keep crocheting that connection. No crochet hook required. Remember, today is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad it is. I will see you again on Tuesday for the next live, and you'll start seeing some devotions shortly rolling out, and we'll get caught up. But the shorts are coming out pretty regularly, so we can get caught up to date with shorts. So we're on our way to church. We're almost there. I will see you on the next one. Have a blessed day. God bless. Bye bye, everybody.